My name is Evan Mulch, and I'm a field coordinator for the John Birch Society. It's now known by just about every American that our cell phones spy on us, and that many of our flat screen TVs have been built with cameras that spy on us as well. So why would it be considered being paranoid if one believes that the voting machines they are using can be manipulated by the voting machine controller or by a hacker that accesses voting machines through a remote device? Did you know that es&s, Election Systems and Software LLC, is the South Carolina Election Commission's selected voting system company? Did you know that es&s became the selected voting systems company for South Carolina shortly after the federal government passed the Help America Vote Act of 2002? Would you believe that former Senator Chuck-Hagel helped vote in the Help America Vote Act of 2002, and at the time he owned between $1 million and $5 million in stock in es&s's parent company, the McCarthy Group, a company that he had previously been the president of? At the time of the start of the Help America Vote Act, many of our congressmen used their clout to try to push every state into purchasing electronic voting machines, which forced an electronic voting system gold rush due to the federal government providing billions of dollars in stolen taxpayer money to states in order to implement the plan. Which two companies profited the most? es&s and Diebold, whose CEO at the time was a top fundraiser for George W. Bush. So once again, the politicians and their friends cash in big, while taxpayers are stuck with a gigantic bill and with electronic voting systems we can't trust. But let's not focus too much on the greed factor in this video, as we need to focus more on the fooled factor. And when I say the fooled factor, I'm talking about we the people, especially those of us that live in South Carolina, as we are the ones willfully using these machines and getting fooled. Just a few days ago, the Republicans of the 4th Congressional District of South Carolina voted in a runoff election for William-Timmons to become their next congressman. As I exposed in an earlier video, William-Timmons is a member of the South Carolina Committee for the U.S. Global Leadership Coalition, an organization that is advised by over 30 members of the CFR, Council on Foreign Relations, including Hillary Clinton, who surprisingly is not a member, although her husband is. If you have studied the facts on the CFR, you know it is a front group for the New World Order, as the group was created specifically in 1921 to create a one world government as dreamed about by Karl Marx. Read the book Shadows of Power by James Perloff to learn more. Would you believe that former South Carolina Republican Chairman Matt Moore took a job working for the U.S. Global Leadership Coalition just days after resigning from the chairmanship of the South Carolina Republican Party? Would you believe that Matt Moore was helpful in getting William-Timmons to defeat Lee Bright, as he recently partnered with First Tuesday Strategies? Would you believe the CFR darling U.S. Senator Marco-Rubio was the only congressman that endorsed William-Timmons during the election? Would you believe that Chuck-Hagel, the former senator we spoke about earlier, who owned and may still own part of es&s, is a member of the Council on Foreign Relations? It's interesting that these four traitors to our constitutional republic, Chuck-Hagel, William-Timmons, Marco-Rubio, and Matt Moore, all have a connection with the Council on Foreign Relations. Chuck-Hagel is also a member of the Ripon Society, but I'll leave it up to you to do an internet search on the Ripon Society to find out what it is all about. Also, please do an internet search on the Aspen Institute's Liberty Fellowship, which Matt Moore just graduated from. You will find that it is a recruiting organization for the New World Order. So South Carolina Republicans can't close their primaries because South Carolina is an open primary state, which is a huge win for openprimaries.org, as they want every state to have open primaries to open our democracy. In other words, they want to destroy our constitutional republic to make way for the one world government that the CFR wants. And the man behind making sure that the primaries remained open in South Carolina when he was chairman of the GOP was South Carolina traitor Matt Moore. Poll data, which usually proves to be quite accurate, showed Lee Bright winning the race against William-Timmons just before the runoff vote. But in the end, the voting machines, which provide no paper trail as required by the South Carolina state law, showed William-Timmons winning the election. Personally, I've done research on the voting results, and the results show that in the runoff between the two, there was a huge difference in deviation between Greenville County, which is where William-Timmons is from, and Spartanburg County, which is where Lee Bright is from. The results showed that in Spartanburg County, Lee Bright's votes increased 135% compared to William-Timmons' 379% increase. In Greenville County, Lee Bright's votes increased 234% compared to William-Timmons' 256% increase. Why the difference in increases? Great question. It's not like Spartanburg County is the state of California and Greenville County is the state of Georgia. Both counties are right next to each other and both have about the same political ideology. I would encourage those watching this to research the data this election, as one would think that Lee Bright's numbers would have been way up in his own county, Spartanburg County, rather than in Greenville County. Overall, there's not much we can do as citizens of South Carolina to get rid of the fooled factor unless we take action and demand paper ballots as required by law in the state of South Carolina. Even better, let's stop having taxpayer-funded primaries in our state so that we, the taxpayer, can keep our money. The Republican Party and the Democrat Party should choose their own candidates and conduct their own primaries with their own funds, just like the Constitution Party and the Libertarian Party have to. Lastly, I believe it is an American principle that the way a citizen votes should be public knowledge. I should be able to know how my neighbor votes. If an American isn't honest enough to tell others who he voted for, he shouldn't be voting in the first place. If we can go back to the paper ballot system in South Carolina, let's go one step further and change the state constitution so that everybody's vote is public and available to see on the internet. Secret ballots should not be allowed in South Carolina, as America was founded on the principle of being a stand-up man, one that would stand up to vote publicly to cast a vote for their candidate. To learn more about the history of being a stand-up man, read To the Victor Go the Myths and Monuments by Arthur Thompson. Lastly, send this video to your elected officials and other influencers that you know while using the hashtag #BackToPaperSC. Also, send it to Matt Moore on Twitter and let the traitor know that you watched the video. His Twitter name is MattMooreSC. If you are watching this video on YouTube, please thumbs up this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you are watching this video on Facebook and Twitter, please follow me first so that you can see more of what I do. God bless you, and thank you for watching.